up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big John and G, the two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. Ravensburger games. A great choice, I think, for a Grand Central shout out, which is why I'm here to tell you about it. But my goodness, as I took a deep dive into Ravensburger, I found an entire world that I didn't know existed. There are more games by this company than I could have guessed. I don't know how this company went under my radar for so long. But this last year and a half or so, I've started discovering some of their titles. And although there are far too many titles for me to get into here with you, I thought there was a few that would be nice to point out for this time of year. Right? It is October. You know what that means. That's right, Halloween! A time of monsters and scariness and madness and ghosts, goblins, and all sorts of creatures of the night. And Ravensburger has a few nice games dedicated to horror. Or at least the horror-ish kind of stuff. So they do. They have an amazing set of games, everything from preschool kind of games, family games, right up to some more slightly adult version games, maturity-wise. Anyway, they have a huge swath of games that I can't even begin to get into. But let me, for right here, right now, let me take a microscope and sort of do a precision laser-focused view on what I consider some of their more Halloweenish, this time of year sort of games. So you with me on this? You want to find out some great games by Ravensburger that I think you may be interested in playing any time of the year, but particularly for what's going on now that it's October. So let me start with what I think was probably the first Ravensburger game that caught my attention to the point that I had to get it. And that game is based on one of the most classic summer blockbuster movies of all time. And that's Jaws. Now, this version of Jaws, there's a few games over the years based on Jaws. In my humble opinion, I think this is by far the best game based on the movie Jaws that I've ever experienced. Now, this is good for 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up, and should run about 60 minutes or so once you're used to the game and have an understanding of the rules. This game caught my attention not just because it's a game based on Jaws, a movie I absolutely loved, scared me shitless as a little kid seeing it in that giant movie theater in the dark. It has a special place in my heart. But this is a one versus all game, and honestly, I think that's the best approach to making Jaws a board game. So one versus all. Someone is going to be playing the shark. Someone's going to be playing Bruce the shark, while the other players are going to be playing Sheriff Brody. They're playing the marine biologist Hooper, and of course my personal favorite, the fisherman Quint. And it's divided into 2 parts, where you're going to have the first part on Amity Island, where the shark and you, the hunters, right, are both trying to build up power and garner some abilities for going into the second act, which takes place, of course, on the Orca. The way they pulled this game together really caught my attention, and I've enjoyed every single time I've played it. And for a first game from this company, it completely blew me away. Now, another Ravensburger title that's tied in with Halloween time that has been burning up the reviews is their Horrified Universal Monsters. This is a game for 1 to 5 players ages 10 and up and should take you about 60 minutes or so. So this is a cooperative game where the player or players are working together to solve the puzzles and the problems in order to figure out how to stop these classic Universal movie monsters that are running rampant over your small village of a town. And each monster has its own unique way that it needs to be dealt with, handled. And that gives the game this unique experience every time you play it. And I like the way the difficulty level of the game is played out and determined by the number of monsters that you are going to be facing in any one session of the game. Now, they have been teasing, I've heard that in some interviews, they've been teasing expansions for the game, which haven't come out yet. However, a big box expansion, standalone big box expansion, has come out called Horrified American Monsters. And while the first of the original Universal Monsters game uses just that, the Universal Monsters from their movies, Dracula, Frankenstein and the Bride, the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, and the creature from the Black Lagoon, this uses creatures taken from American cryptozoology. Creatures like Bigfoot, the Jersey Devil, and Mothman, among others. In fact, it's gotten me so excited. I enjoy and love the Horrified so much, and I am so excited for the American Monster Edition that I can't wait to see what else they have coming down the line. And if some of these rumors are true, that the core game is going to be getting its own expansion, who knows, maybe we'll get to see like Jekyll and Hyde, or the Hunchback of Notre Dame, or the Phantom of the Opera, right, as maybe some of the new monsters. But that's another title by Ravensburger that I think just really screams to be played this time of year. Two separate and independent titles occupy the Villainous game. The original Villainous was the Disney Villainous that came out, and in this game you get to play exactly that. The villains. Your favorite Disney villains come to life under your control while you try to experience being the villains and having to accomplish their villainous tasks in order to achieve their end goal. Now, from here, they took this concept and also made a Marvel Villainous, where you get to play out as one of the many Marvel supervillains that we have seen in the comics and on the silver screen. Both of these concepts are highly successful in the board gaming industry, and there's tons of amazing write-ups on both of these games. Although there are no expansions for Marvel Villainous at the time, I think there are 3. There were 2, but I think a third came out for Disney Villainous. I'm assuming that there will be, obviously, expansions for Marvel Villainous. They have so many more villains that they can incorporate for us players and for themselves, make some money off of. Let's be honest, that's what it really comes down to for them. But as long as we're enjoying it, it doesn't matter. Let them make some money off us. That's the way things work. Now, one final game that I think really has the vibe for this time of year is Jurassic Park Danger. Now, this is a one-verse-all style game, so it's got my attention from the get-go with that. Besides this exciting, well-known, well-loved IP that it has backing everything up here. So one player will be controlling the dinosaurs themselves, not just a dinosaur, but you will be controlling the T-Rex, the Velociraptors. You'll be controlling quite a few as they hunt around Jurassic Park Island. What was that island called? Isla Nublar or something like that? I can't remember. But they're hunting around while the other players are, well, playing humans, trying not to get eaten. Now, this gets rid of the elimination style that some games have that, let's face it, is really annoying. Nobody wants to be eliminated from a game and standing around with nothing to do, especially if you're the first person eliminated from the game. At least if you're the last person, it might not be that long until the next game starts up. But it eliminates this by the fact that if you're playing a human and you become a lunch, you're just going to find another human and start playing them and try to get them to survive. I like that. That's a really nice touch. And the game, everything that I've seen spoken about this game does make it feel like it is going to reach out and drag you into the story, into the movie. In this case, Jurassic Park. It's really going to make you feel like you are part of I want to say the adventure, but it's more like the stalking, I guess, is more what it is, right? Let's be honest here. It's just dinosaurs hunting humans. And I think that's pretty fun. There's a few dinosaur games out there, but not a lot of them where you're getting to hunt human beings. So those are several games from Ravensburger, and there are so many more. Please go check out their website. Go check out their links. There are so many games, like I said early in the beginning of this video, from preschool, right up to ages 10, 12, 14, and older. So there's so much more that I could talk about here. That's why I just kind of laser focused on several of their games that have a nice Halloween-y or horror vibe kind of touch. And I'm hoping that this information, how I am informing you, will spark something to make you look into this a little more and make up your own damn mind whether you think this is a company whose games are worthy of you checking out. So like I said, I only just found out about them, and apparently they've been around forever. So please, go get more information, check out the titles from Ravensburger.